Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli, the computer guy, here for the Daily Blob, where I shake my brain nipples every day to get some of that dirty YouTube money so I can provide you folks hands-on, in-person technology education in Durham, North Carolina that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Silicon Dojo, silicondojo.com. We have a class coming up on AI and web scraping that is completely full. Don't sign up for it next week. We have another class coming up on extending AI capabilities with REST APIs. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. If you're interested in those, take a look at the schedule at silicondojo.com. Do remember, free to user is not actually free. That's why I shake the brain nips every day. If you want to throw some money into the donor box link down below, that would be ever so lovely. And here, I'm going to tell you here and now, if you are an American, if you are a Westerner, if your skin looks like mine, I'm going to tell you a cheat code for life, right? This is a real life hack. I swear on the grave of the cat that I never owned that this is true. That if, right, the repo guy, if the repo person shows up at your house to repossess your car because you do not have the money to be able to pay for the car anymore because you lost your job, all you have to do is you look that repo person in the eye and you say, "Chinaman bad." And they will look at you and they will say, "I understand." And then they will walk the fuck away and you will own that car forever. It is true. That is a real life hack. I swear upon the life of the dead cat that I've never owned that in fact is a way to get full ownership of your vehicle. So yeah, this whole... Can I go back to talking about layoffs? I just did a video talking about Verizon laying off 15,000 people. I miss being able to do lots of those videos. Can we do more of those videos? I'm just getting tired of this whole Chinaman bad thing. Anyway, so the Western world has decided that Chinaman bad. And so the latest people to get involved in the whole Chinaman bad thing is Germany. I think this is coming from the South China Post or whatever the fuck it's called. Germany to ban China's Huawei from future 5G or 6G network. So 6G is the next telecom network that's coming down the pike. Who the hell knows when we'll get it? Who the hell knows when anybody will care? Remember when we were told 5G is going to revolutionize the world? And I mean, we have 5G. I can't think of a single thing I'm doing on 5G that's different than what I did on 4G. But anyways, 6G is coming down the pike. The way I think about 6G is a lot of the way I think about, like, was it Wi-Fi 7? So I don't know. We used to have a different way of naming Wi-Fi, right? So Wi-Fi 802.11b, like, sucked donkey balls. It was just horrible. 802.11g was actually pretty good. It actually proved the point of Wi-Fi technology, but it was pretty crappy. You started to get pretty decent Wi-Fi with 802.11n, so that was when Wi-Fi actually started being good for things like voice and video and real-time communication. And then we got to Wi-Fi 802.11ac. And that is basically where I think Wi-Fi got to be great. Again, iterative improvements, fine. I'm not going to snark on making things better, but most of the improvements you're getting from the later versions of Wi-Fi, again, are better than AC, but kind of like, who the hell cares, right? So I think AC is Wi-Fi 6 now by the current standards. So we have Wi-Fi 7. Wi-Fi 7 is now out. You can buy Wi-Fi 7 adapters in the whole 9 yards. And to me, again, good. I mean, like, Wi-Fi 7 is better than Wi-Fi 6, AC as I call it. But do I really care? Not really. There's nothing about AC where I'm like, oh, if only, right? With G, right, B sucked. G was like, well, it's good, but there's problems. N was like, this is pretty solid. This is 95% there. AC is basically 99.99999% there. Like, get really few problems. So you go to, Wi-Fi 7. It's better than 6, but who the hell cares? I kind of think of that with, like, 6G. 6G is going to be better than 5G. Will you notice? Probably not. But anyways, Germany is coming out. Europe Europe is on the bandwagon of Chinaman being bad. And so apparently Germany is going to be banning China from the 6G network. And the interesting thing with this particular article is it's not simply Huawei. It's not simply Huawei. It's not simply ZTE. They're coming out and just fucking saying it. China. Right? Anyways, Germany Chancellor Friedrich Merz said Chinese suppliers such as Huawei Technologies will be excluded from the country's future telecommunication network on security grounds as he pushes for more digital sovereignty. Why? What are the vulnerabilities? Eli, it's made by China, man. Quote, we have decided within the government that everywhere it's possible we'll replace components, for example, in the 5G network, with components we have produced ourselves. Merz told a business conference in Berlin on Thursday, and we won't allow any components from China. So not Huawei, not ZTE, not whoever else, China in the 6G network. I do think this is going to be interesting to see out of Europe. I wonder how well this is going to go for Europe, right? Because right now the United States is trying to decouple, right? We're trying to decouple from China. I don't know. We're trying to decouple from the world. Don't ask me what Trump is doing. Don't ask me what Trump is doing. I don't, right? But anyways, right? So there's a whole question, right? The United States is trying to decouple from the world. China is trying to decouple, has been decoupling from the United States, and we're pretty strong powers, right? We have industrial bases, we have mining capabilities, we have a lot of this stuff. How well this whole decoupling thing is gonna go is a hell of a question mark. But I mean, if you're looking at the brass tacks, if all you have to do is look at the brass tacks, you don't have to look at the broader ramifications. The fact is, the United States can probably decouple majorly from the rest of the world, and that China can decouple from the United States. It may be ugly as fuck, but theoretically you can do it. The funny thing is, like, Europe comes in, they're so adorable. Aww, look. Europeans think we're peers. We're not. We're just fucking not. So I think the interesting thing for Europe is going to be, right, since they want to be the power players, right? They want to be the other leg on the three-legged stool or whatever. They're like, we're just like you. And so if United States is decoupling and China is decoupling, and then Europe, like the European countries want to be like, well, we're big countries too. And so they're going to try to decouple. They're going to try to decouple. But they're just fundamentally not in the same position. They're not in the same. Again, when you talk about Europe, right? Europe is larger than the United States, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going for Europe. But Europe isn't Europe. Europe is Germany and France and Italy and Greece and the Netherlands and Spain and Portugal. Got a whole bunch of shit going on there. And just from a brass tack standpoint, it's just not the same. They're just not playing the same fucking game, right? And so I think one of the things that's really interesting as we go forward is as you see Europe try to be playing, pretending to be playing in the same league as the other two major countries in the world. I'll be curious to see how well that works, right? Can Germany, right, use components they've produced themselves, right? Does Germany have a practical path to being able to decouple? It's gonna be a hell of a question. We're gonna see this out of more and more countries, basically, as this whole decoupling idea comes through. I swear, look, I'm looking in the future. Like, sometimes I feel like I come from like 10 years in the future. There's gonna be a day not too long from now where fucking Portugal tries to decouple. And you're just gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Portugal? You can't do that. You can't do that. You need more in life than sardines. You got some wonderful sardines over there, but motherfucker, you need more than life than sardines. But anyways, I think this is what we're gonna start seeing: is more and more of these countries try to become self-sufficient, and it'll be interesting to see where this path goes. Europe is increasingly concerned about its reliance on foreign technology, ranging from Asian semiconductors to U.S. artificial intelligence and cloud infrastructure, as trade and geopolitical tensions threaten critical supply chains. And so that's one of the issues with Europe now, is again, we talk about the West, we talk about Whitey, and there's this idea that we're all in it together. Yeah, Trump has disabused us all of that notion. Look, America's fucking with Canada at this point in time. To be clear, to all Canadians out there, I don't know where the fuck this shit came from, right? Fucking with Mexico, look, I don't like it, but again, in American zeitgeist, yeah, that's a thing that happens. Fucking with Europe, yeah, that's a thing that happens. I don't know a single American that wants to fuck with Canada. I have never been drinking a beer with anybody who said, you know, the real problem with modern America, I'm gonna say it. So fucking maple eaters. Nobody. I thought all Americans, from the yuppies to the KKK to the black liberation motherfuckers, I thought we all were like, you know, those Canadians are pretty nice. You know, I have a lot of problems with most people in the world, but, you know, they're Canadian. Anyways, we're fucking with Canadians. So it is interesting for Europe right now, right? Europe is getting themselves into a bit of a situation where they're like, wow, we can't trust China man. We also really can't trust American man. And we also can't trust our neighbors. Can't trust our neighbors. Do remember this whole European Union thing, the whole ever closer union. You know why that whole concept of the ever closer union thing exists? Because Europeans really like to fucking murder each other. They like to murder the shit out of each other, right? If you don't bring them into ever closer union, it becomes ever more likely they're just gonna start pulling out butcher knives and fucking hacking each other to bits. Right, and so again, that's an interesting thing, like with this whole European dynamic, right? That's the thing, like I'm in North Carolina, like North Carolinians, like have zero interest in like murdering South Carolinians. It's not like motherfucker, if it wasn't for those South Carolinians, right? Whereas again, Europe is a bit more Europe. And so again, what happens to Europe, and what happens to European countries as they try to go for self-sufficiency in this very, very fraught environment they're in? Germany last year ordered telecoms operators to remove Huawei equipment from their core networks, citing risks to national security. This is one of the things we hear too, again, with this whole Chinaman thing, which is they talk about ripping Huawei equipment. They don't talk about the cost to taxpayers, right? If you have networking equipment, right, the lowest cost, right, enterprise class, whatever, switch or networking equipment, piece of networking equipment you're going to buy, is going to be at least $1,000, right? $1,000. Because the idea is you buy this shit and then it really does fucking last forever, right? So if you're ripping shit out before the end of its life cycle, there is very real cost. This shit's expensive, right? And the government is mandating already functional, in-place equipment be ripped out of infrastructure because no price is too high for the security of our people. Berlin is now considering using public funds to pay Deutsche Telekom AG and others to strip out Chinese gear. Bloomberg News reported last month. Mayer said he would raise the issue at a summit on digital sovereignty with French President Emmanuel Macron next week. Quote, we'll discuss with industry what we can do not only to make ourselves independent from China, but also, for example, independent from the United States, independent from the big tech company, Mayer said. Mayer's ruled out fully decoupling from China, which is Germany's second biggest trading partner. Quote, we can't do that, he said. quote, China can't do that, but we can do it even less. I do think this is also an interesting question going on, right? Like whenever we talk about China, we always talk about the trade imbalance, right? Of all the crap China, right, sells to the Western world, and that they're dumping these products in the whole 9 yards. The reality is China also buys a lot of shit. A lot of shit. Like we just saw this with the soybeans. I knew nothing about soybeans at the beginning of the summer. I know a lot about soybeans now, right? No fucking clue. They bought $25 billion of soybeans every year, right? Now we know about that. I do think this is also interesting too with Germany. And I also question the intelligence of the Europeans, right? All of my fucking life, whenever I run into a European, they will not stop talking about how smart they are and how much better their education system is and laughing about the dumb Americans. Right? It just is. Right? Again, I've been in hostels. I've been in 5-star hotels. It's just like, fuck me. You do not know, like how many times, not just in Europe, but around the world, I will sit down, some fucking snotty ass little European. I'll be like, how's the day? How's your day going? They'll be like, oh, let me tell you about how stupid I think Americans are. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Right. Anyways, but it is whatever. It's their entertainment. It's their entertainment. What I think is interesting though is why I am fundamentally questioning the basic intelligence of the Europeans at this point is how fucking dumb their politicians are. Right, we talked about this yesterday. I did a video talking about the Dutch minister, right? Talking about he would do exactly the same things he did with Nexperia again. The entire disaster of Nexperia, right? And he doesn't come back and say, maybe we should have given it a little bit more time. Maybe we should have given some companies some heads up. Maybe we should have analyzed the supply chain better so we fully understood the ramifications of what we were doing. No, this dumb shit motherfucker, right? This senile, fucking wall-licking piece of crap Dutch politician literally comes out and says, I would do exactly the same thing with Nexperia again. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, how fucking stupid are the Europeans? That's the question on many of our minds. And that's the thing here with Germany, too, right? I'm not saying they do things on the down low. I'm not saying from a practical standpoint, there are things that you don't do, right? Yes. We want to make sure that we can support our society and our infrastructure, so we are going to invest more money into building telecommunications equipment. Right? In order for jobs programs, we are going to upskill our employees to be able to do high-tech manufacturing and for an ever closer union so we don't murder the fuck out of each other. We are going to have cross-border corporations between Germany and France and Spain or whoever else in order to build this networking equipment. And obviously, since we're building this networking equipment, that is the equipment that we're going to prioritize going into our environment, right? There are ways to push policies forward where you get an outcome without fucking screaming it to the world. You don't have to constantly scream to the world that you think China is inferior, that you think the Chinese people are inferior, that the fact of where somebody is born makes them a fucking threat to you. You don't actually have to say that all the damn time, right? And so that's what's curious here with Germany coming out and saying this, is because they are literally saying to the world, they are saying to the Chinese face, right, you are untrustworthy basically by your blood. And to be clear, this is their major market where they sell shit to. So basically, Germany is coming out and saying, your blood is inferior. Keep buying our products. Yeah, that's gonna turn out well. What's wrong with the Europeans? Seriously, is there some virus over there? Did you get the European COVID? Did you get the European COVID? Was like Europe's COVID like a mix of COVID and mad cow disease? Is that what the hell's going on over there? Because I swear, I look at I'm just like, what? Oh, Lordy. Anyways, we can't do that. China can't do that, but we can do even less. The center-right leader also warned business leaders they should be aware of the risks they were taking when dealing with China and that Germany could not always be there to protect them. If you are going to lay with the China man, Daddy isn't always going to be able to protect you. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, fuck the spaghetti monster. What? What is... So anyways, I don't know. As I've said before, I think Europe and the United States should spend more money on paying to upskill young people in the trades and skills that are required in the modern world. I do think that we should reshore a lot of manufacturing and industrial capacity, and I think we should put those jobs on a pedestal, right? The people should be as proud that their kid manufactures, silicon wafers as if their kid manufactures or does accounting. Oh, I'm sorry your kid had to do second best and have to become an accountant. I know what they really wanted to do was manufacture fucking UAVs or something. Right? We need better industrial policy. We need better zoning policy. We need better education policy. We need to empower our people to actually be able to build our societies. And instead of that, we are basically being told that Chinaman is inferior by the blood that they are born to and can never be trusted, and essentially can never be trusted. And I just don't. Again, I don't like. And why does the Western world think that China has any interest continuously putting up with this crap? Right? Again, the Chinese people can read this shit just like I can. Right? At what point do European goods just become fucking vulgar and disgusting to them? Like whatever their quality is. Like, ew, I don't want that. Right? I just don't understand any of this horse shit right now. This is all just, it's weird. It's just ineffective. It's just ineffective garbage. Anyways, so what do you think about this? What do you think about Germany banning Chinese, not even just Huawei. Huawei is one of the examples, but Chinese equipment from the future 6G network, that they want Chinese equipment ripped out of the 5G network to be paid for by taxpayer expense. And that essentially what they're saying here is that you fundamentally, just cannot trust anybody with Chinese blood. And at the exact same time, they expect to be selling a shit ton of stuff to China. Like don't lick walls. Dear European, we all have different cultures. We all have different cultures. We all like different things. We like coffee, the Brits like tea. I don't know why they drink mud water, but fuck, they like to drink mud water. Let them do what they want to do. But here's the thing. I guess one of the latest trends must be licking fucking walls in Europe. Just stop. Like there's other things to lick. You can lick ice cream. You can lick icicles. Icicles are good things to lick. People, whoever you want to lick, licking other people, that can be real fun. But yeah, this whole licking walls thing, motherfucker, it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. It's not doing any of us any good. Love of crikey. So anyways, what do you think about all this? What do you think about this continuing idiocy? Do you think Germany can decouple from the world? Fuck, do you think Europe can decouple? Again, when we talk about Europe, Europe's not Europe. It's funny, like I talk about Africa, I'll say, like, as an American, I'll say Africa, right? And then I'll get all these snarky comments. Elon, Africa is not one country. I'm like, nobody cares. It's like, I know, and nobody cares. Anyways, I think the interesting thing, right? You talk about Africa, and people get really pissed off because there's not one country. Anyways, but then there's this idea, like, but Europe, right? There's this mental construct of Europe. Yeah, it's not one country either. It's not one country either. It's a hell of a lot closer to Africa than it is to the United States. I mean, that's just brass tacks of it. And so even with Europe, there is that interesting question of how self-reliant can they be, right? It's that whole question of Europe doesn't have a Google. Europe doesn't have a Facebook. Europe doesn't have a Microsoft. Google doesn't have an Amazon. Google doesn't have anything that competes anywhere within that realm, which is actually fascinating to me. Again, you think about something like Amazon, like fundamentally with Amazon, you think they would have a like real Amazon competitor, but not really, right? A Google competitor, no. Like nobody here, because again, even in America, Americans love hating on America. I think that's one of the big problems is the world loves hating on America and Americans love hating on America. So most of the time, all you're hearing about is shit about America. But that's the thing, like if there was a European search engine, honestly, if there is a European search engine comparable to Google, I shit you not, most of the people I know would use that fucker simply because it's not American. Like truthfully, like fuck Google, I'm using Franco or what the fuck it's called, right? But there's not a Microsoft, there's not a Google, there's not an Amazon, there's not an Oracle, there's not, right, SpaceX or all the shit that Elon Musk is doing, right? And so, again, from a practical standpoint, do they have the capability to decouple? I don't know. It's going to be curious to see going into the future. I think this is something, if you are a decision maker in the technology world, right, as we go through this economic kerfuffle that we're going through, this could be a wonderful place to make a lot of money. Remember, even in recessions, even in depressions, money still gets spent. Money still gets spent on stupid crap, too. All right, it's just reality. So one of the things you might be thinking about is focusing on, national self-sufficiency, right? You see that with companies now, like our company is an eco company, right? Our company is we're going to net zero for electricity emissions or net zero for waste or that type of thing, right? The whole eco thing is what a lot of companies put out there, and they use that as part of their branding. Purchase our product. Our product might be a little bit more expensive, but we have zero waste or net zero carbon or whatever else. An interesting thing to be thinking about for your company is, can you go nationalistic? Now, don't go fucking Nazi on me. No matter what my horrible jokes may say, don't go Nazi now. But can you, this is an X company. We prioritize, right? You think about that with intent. So many times with companies, the intent is just to be the lowest cost or whatever. What if your intent of the company is to be focused on products that allow you to decouple? Right? We buy this networking equipment because it is built, in Sweden or whatever. We purchase this particular equipment. Now the final assembler might be in China, but if you look at all the components that go into it, they're actually coming from France or something like that. We use this provider because their data centers are wherever. Could you start using nationalism as a branding strategy in the way that the whole eco and the whole BLM and DEI crap have been used over the past decade or so. I think there might actually be a real value proposition from there. And also something to be thinking about with the CTOs and CEOs is a big push for corporations to go for DEI or for eco stuff is based off of regulations, right? There's what the technological solution is, there's what the business solution is, and then there's where the regulations push you or where you think the regulations will push you, right? Remember, with CIOs and CTOs, they've got to be thinking about that 5-year, that 10-year time frame. They don't want to have to redeploy equipment. They do not have to want to rip out perfectly good equipment just to put in equipment that's going to do the same shit, right? Nobody fucking wants to do that. So if your company comes in as a consultant, basically just like we had DEI consultants and just like we had the green eco consultants, what if your pitch is we are going to align you with kind of like this nationalist policy type deal, right? When we when we provide you a proposal for cloud services, all of those cloud services are going to be abide by kind of like this nationalist concept. I think that might be a valuable way to go. It's something to be thinking about in the future because we're just going to see more of this, right? Germany talking about self-sufficiency. Go fuck yourself. Stop looking the goddamn wall. It's not going to happen. But just because it's a stupid idea, as we see with the Trump administration, as we see with Trump, just because it's a stupid idea, one, doesn't mean the fuckers won't try to do it, and two, doesn't mean there's not a lot of money to be made while the disaster unfolds. So anyways, what do you think about this crap show? Put your thoughts down below. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. If you hate these videos, give us a thumbs down. Call me amazing, call me a dumbass. Just be a real Lutnick and put a strong American comment down there. And for the Europeans, we'll accept some of your weak beef comments, but just understand, your comments are going to be weak beef. It's just how it goes. Anyways, do remember what I actually care about is Telecom Dojo, free to use your hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do in life. In Durham, North Carolina, we have a class coming up on AI and web scraping next week, completely full. Do not sign up for it. We have a class coming up on AI, extending AI capabilities with REST APIs coming up in a couple of weeks. If you're interested in those classes or more classes coming down the pike, go to silicondojo.com, become a member. It's absolutely free, just to be kept in the loop. Do remember, free to the end user is not free. That's why I shake the brain nips every day. If you want to throw some money into the donor box link down below, that would be ever so lovely. And with that, see y'all later.